What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of Fast Breaker Tundra Baller. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and let's have a great day of talking about basketball. Let's go. So we are back with another amazing episode. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we have a good amount of stuff to talk about today. So we have some NBA drama that has been going on, and then we will go back to Clippers stuff. So let's get started with some NBA fan drama. So we have two NBA players that had some drama with some fans. So the first one, we will talk about Zach LaVine. So a week ago today, Zach LaVine got into a heated argument with a fan next to the Kings bench during a timeout in the fourth quarter with 5:53 left against the Phoenix Suns. During this time, the Kings were down 14, 102 to 86. There was a video of this thing going around, and it went viral. The fan got kicked out, and many assumed that he was mad because he lost some bet. You know, people and their sports betting and stuff. The final score of this game was the Kings losing to the Suns, 112 to 100. Later on, the fan spoke on social media about the situation. His name is Devlin Carter. He is a season ticket holder for the Kings, and he is a very passionate fan of the Kings, just like me, a very passionate fan of the Clippers. He said this is his words. After the sixth time Zach LaVine leaves his man wide open for a three, Doug Christie calls a timeout. They come over to the bench, and I say, yo, we don't pay to watch you not play defense. Then Zach LaVine looks at me and says, then go home, bleep. I'm going to keep this family friendly here. So he was pretty much calling out Zach LaVine for his effort on defense since he was leaving his man open a lot. It's kind of like the Clippers leaving their man open for three. He wanted to let LaVine know that he paid a lot of money for these tickets, and he doesn't want to see a player that earns $40 million a year play like that. Well, for his contract, he is earning $47.5 million this year alone. That's a lot of money. He was saying that he only had 8 points when it was the fourth quarter. Zach LaVine is the type of guy that gets a bucket. He is known for that. He was ice cold during the game. He only scored 13 points this game, and he shot 5 for 14 from the field and 1 for 6 from three. So he had an off night. Carter did apologize to the Kings and the security. He's been a Kings fan for a while. But he wasn't from here, and he talked about how great the employees and security are. That's why he's a Kings fan. Although the Kings aren't winning a lot of games right now, this doesn't matter to him because of how great the people are. He drives an hour and a half to the arena and back to go to Kings games. So he's really dedicated. It's kind of like me. I drive about an hour or something there and back to go to Clipper games. The other fan incident that we have today that we're going to talk about is Josh Giddey. So the Bulls, they were playing at Charlotte last Friday. With a minute 16 left in the game, well, the Bulls were down 7, 119 to 112. Bulls guard Josh Giddey was getting ready for an inbound play while a fan was talking trash to him. The fan appeared to be talking about a situation that happened to Giddey a few years ago. In November 2023, Giddey was accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a minor. So it's kind of like, like what EDP did, You guys know who EDP is? He was a famous YouTuber back then, and then he was accused of meeting with a 13-year-old. So there was this post of an anonymous user that said that Giddey was seen in videos and pictures with a girl that was a junior in high school at the time. So this person was for sure a minor, and during this time, Giddey was 21 years old. So after this, the NBA immediately started investigating the situation, but they let the Newport Beach police in California to do a lot of investigating. So they pretty much let the police in Newport Beach take care of it. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that he was on at the time, And Giddey himself, he declined to comment. Like, there was this time when a reporter asked him about it, and Giddey pretty much said that he understands what he's talking about, but he has no comment at this time. He really never commented about the situation. Not really exactly about it. He was still able to play for the Thunder, like nothing happened, but every away game was hard for him because the fans were booing him every time they saw him. It was like his only safe place in public was at home games when he was at home. So after a thorough investigation, the Newport Beach Police Department did not file any charges after not finding any evidence. And also the girl's family didn't comply to police and pretty much like testify anything. So then the NBA eventually ended their investigation and Giddey was proven his innocence. So he wasn't found guilty of any of this. Going back to the incident with a fan, there is a courtside video of the interaction where Giddey told the fan that he was talking trash about a situation he knows nothing about, which he's probably right because a lot of the investigation and all the details, it's all confidential probably. A lot of it didn't go to the public. The fan was also flipping off Giddey. The referees called security over, and then he kicked out the fan, just like the one in Sacramento. So both of those fans, they were kicked out. And yeah, I remember when I found out the Josh Giddey situation. I was on TikTok. It was Thanksgiving in 2023. I was hanging out with my friends. Well, I was walking home from hanging out with my friends, and then I was just scrolling on TikTok, and then I found a video of a situation happening, and I was just like, what? That is so random. Like, on Thanksgiving Day, that news came out. On Thanksgiving 2023. It was just so random. But I was just, like, I like Josh Giddey. He's a really good player, so I'm happy that he didn't get in trouble for this, or, like, he actually did it. Like, if he actually did it, that's terrible. Like, nobody should do that. But I'm glad that he actually didn't do it, though, it looks like. So now we will go to Clipper content. So before we go over the 3 games I'm going to highlight today, we'll talk about the things that happened last week for the Clippers. So the game against the Magic, the 2 Thursdays ago, they lost by 28 against the Orlando Magic. They got blown out. Jalen Suggs, he went off for 23 points with 5 threes. But the next game, 2 days later, against the Charlotte Hornets, the Clippers won. They got their 5th win of the season to bring their record to 5-11. James Harden went off for 55 points. He had 27 points in the first quarter. He had 27 points in the first quarter, and he went off for 55 throughout the whole game. He went 17 for 26, made 10 threes, and those 55 points, that is a franchise record for most points in a game. He beat Bob McAdoo's record. So James Harden last year, he scored 50 points, so that was pretty much the second most in franchise history. But James Harden, he is now on top. So now it's James Harden with 55, then Bob McAdoo, then James Harden again with 50 last year against the Pistons. But Colin Kneppel, though, during that game, he had a great game. He might be the rookie of the year over Cooper Flagg and VJ Edgecombe. He scored 26 points, 9 for 12 shooting, and 6 for 9 from 3. LaMelo Ball, he had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, but he was 1 for 7 from 3. But he was 7 for 14 from the field. And then the Clippers, they play against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ivica Zubac, he had a big game. The Clippers lost by 15, but it was the second game of back-to-back. They lost 120 to 105. Ivica Zubac, he had his biggest game of the year so far this season. He had 33 points and 18 rebounds, 15 for 22. Although the Clippers, they were struggling to score, he kept the Clippers alive. And if he didn't score those 33 points, the Clippers probably would have lost by way worse than 15. But Donovan Mitchell, though, he had 37 points. And this was Kawhi Leonard's first game back. So after being gone for 10, 11 straight games, and there was this picture going around of how he turned his ankle when he played against the Heat the first time. And it was bad. Like, luckily, he didn't break his ankle. It was just like a sprain. But it was a bad turn, like terrible. But yeah, Kawhi came back. In 26 minutes, he had 20 points. And 3 rebounds and 2 assists, 6 for 13 shooting in 26 minutes. And James Harden, he had an off day. After hitting 10 threes the day before, he went 0 for 8 from 3, 5 for 16 from the field. And on the Cavs side, Donovan Mitchell, he was just a straight-up bucket. He is averaging 30 points a game this year. He scored 37 points, 14 for 22 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3. And the Cavs, they made 17 threes, 17 for 45. And then the last game that we'll talk about for a little bit, it was against the Lakers. And unfortunately, big rivalry, Clippers versus Lakers. They used to share their arena at the Crypto.com arena in downtown LA. And unfortunately, it was no good. The first 3 quarters, the Clippers, they kept it close with the Lakers. But the Lakers, they just pulled away. They won by 17, 135 to 118. And James Harden, he went off for 29 points. Kawhi Leonard also played. And he didn't play in the last 4 minutes in the clutch. But I was honestly kind of mad about that because we still had a chance to win the game. Like, we weren't down by a ton, like 17 in the last few minutes. Like, but the the team doctors, they just wouldn't let him play. Like, I get he's in min restriction and stuff, but if you want to win games, you gotta put your best players in the clutch. But that didn't happen. But Luka Doncic, he went off for 43 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists. He made 7 threes. A lot of those points were in the first half. He had about 30 points in the first half. It was frustrating to watch. And Austin Reeves, he had a big fourth quarter. He finished the game with 31 points. LeBron James, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. But now, we will go down to the games that we're going to go a deep dive on today. So, this is last Friday's game. The Clippers against the Grizzlies. The Clippers are back at Intuit Dome after a 7-game road trip. This is Kawhi's 3rd game back from a terrible ankle injury. As I said, there was a picture going around of how bad Kawhi turned his ankle. Really, really bad. And Derrick Jones, he is out with a knee injury now. When the Clippers played the Celtics 2 weeks ago, Jaylen Brown fell on Derrick's knees and pretty much hyperextended it. But, at the moment, I was mad at Jaylen Brown that he was falling on his, pretty much diving on DJ's legs. And, you don't do that. But I get it, he was going for the ball. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't intentional. But it was just, for DJ, wrong place, wrong time. It was on the floor for a while, and it was, it's just a sprain on his knee. So that's the best situation possible, it looks like. Bogdan Bogdanović is also out with a hip contusion. For the Grizzlies, they have a lot of guys out going to this game. John Morant, Ty Jerome, Brandon Clark, Also, Ty Jerome hasn't played this season yet. Scottie Pippen Jr. and Javon Small. To start off the game, the Clippers came out to play with a three-pointer from Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden. So 3 straight threes. They were playing very well on both sides of the ball. After the first quarter, the Clippers were up 35-24. They shot 54% from the field, 67%, 6-7 from 3, 6 for 9. On defense, they forced 6 turnovers by getting 6 steals with 3 blocks. However, the Clippers allowed 6 offensive rebounds. Some of them they couldn't control because of the blocks, but still they need a box out. So Zach Giddey for the Grizzlies, he is a big guy. He's 7'3". He's got 3 inches on Ivica Zubac. He already had 7 rebounds for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies shot 39% from the field, and James Harden already had 11 points, and Kawhi Leonard with 10. The Clippers maintained their lead, and they were up by 16 after a Chris Paul three-pointer and a 2 from Kawhi to make the score 40-24. After being up 46-32, they went on a 8-0 run to bring the Clippers lead down to 6 after Cam Spencer made a floater and 2 threes from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Laker legend. Then the Clippers finished the last 7 minutes of a quarter, allowing 10 points while they scored 17 points. The Clippers were up 13 at halftime, 63-50. Caldwell-Pope made 3 threes that quarter. Kawhi scored 8 in that quarter, finishing with 18 at the half. The second half was a lot different compared to the second half, though. After the Clippers outscored the Grizzlies 6-3 after the first minute and a half to bring the lead down to 16, it went all downhill. The Clippers only scored 18 points that quarter. 7 of those points were from free throws. After going 8 for 18 from 3 in the first half, they shot 1 for 10 from 3 in the third quarter. Overall, they shot 25% from the field in that quarter, 5 for 20. The Grizzlies shot 47%, 9 for 19. They were also out-rebounded 17-8, the Clippers. They only grabbed 8 rebounds that quarter. The Clippers, after all that, they only had a 3-point lead after 3 quarters, 81-78. So at the start of the fourth quarter, the Grizzlies immediately took the lead by going on to a 7-2 run in the first 2 minutes. When Cedric Howard made that jumper to take the lead, that was their first lead in the game. So the Clippers, they were up front the whole game until Cedric Howard made that jumper in the fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard started in that quarter, and he kept the Clippers' hopes alive before being subbed out after the first 4 minutes. He scored 8 points in that span. He was a literal bucket. He was putting on a clinic. The Clippers, they were trailing for most of the quarter, and Kawhi came back in the last 3 minutes of the game. So the Clippers, they were down by 8 with a minute left. Kawhi makes a mid-range jumper with 41 seconds left. Now they're down 6. Jalen Wells gets fouled and makes both free throws. Now it's back to an 8-point game. Kawhi gets a dunk now, and it's back to 6 with 20 seconds left. After a timeout, Chris Dunn steals the ball from Cam Spencer, and Kawhi makes a 3 to cut the lead in half to 3 with 7 seconds left. The Clippers couldn't get a steal, and they fouled Jalen Wells again. He made both free throws with 2 seconds left, and the game was over. The Clippers came back from a 16-point deficit and won by 5, 112-107. Kawhi scored 7 points in 34 seconds, almost half of his 15 fourth quarter points. Jaren Jackson Jr. on the other side, he scored 11 in the fourth for the Grizzlies. The Clippers, they were just ice cold. The Grizzlies, they had 7 players with 10 or more points in that game. Those players, Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jock Landale, Santi Aldama, and Vince Williams Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr., he finished the game with 24 points. Zach Giddey, he had 5 points, but he had 19 rebounds. 6 of them were on the offensive end, and he had 3 blocks. Kawhi Leonard, he had 39 points in 5 for 24 shooting, despite only playing 28 minutes. He was on a minute restriction. If he wasn't on a minute restriction, if he played like 35, 40 minutes, maybe he would have had 50. They couldn't guard him. James Harden, he had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. He was almost on triple-double watch. So the next game that we're going to talk about is the Clippers and Mavericks. So this was the night after playing against the Grizzlies. So the Clippers, they're playing against the Dallas Mavericks on the second night of a back-to-back. The Mavericks have been struggling with winning games all year, just like the Clippers. They've been battling injuries all year as well, just like the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard, Derrick Jones Jr., and now Bradley Beal. He's out for the season. Going to this game, these players are out for the Mavericks. Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Dante Exum, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. Also, D'Angelo Russell, he was listed as healthy in this game, but he didn't play due to the coach's decision. So he pretty much got a DNP, which stands for did not play. Klay Thompson wasn't going to play at first with a knee injury, but he was good to play after all. So the Clippers, they were off to a great start, just like the Mavericks game. They were up as much as 8 points in the first quarter, while the rest of the Mavericks were struggling to score to start the game. Cooper Flagg, their rookie, the first overall pick this year, from Duke University, he was the only one that was able to consistently score. He had 12 of the first 16 points for the Mavericks. 8 of them were the Mavericks' first 8 points of the game. The Clippers were up by 8 with 2 minutes left when James Harden made 2 free throws. But the Mavericks, they finished strong with a 7-2 run. So this made the Clippers only up 3 after the first quarter, 28-25. Cooper Flagg almost had half of the Mavericks' points with 12 on 6 for 9 shooting. The rest of the team, they shot 4 for 15 from the field in that quarter. Just imagine if Cooper Flagg didn't go off, it probably would have been real bad for the Mavericks. But yeah, Cooper Flagg, he had the team on his back in that quarter. While he was shooting 6 for 9 and the rest of the team 4 for 15, Cooper Flagg was on one. The Clippers starting 5 were the only Clippers players to score in that quarter. James Harden was the leading scorer for the Clippers at the time with 9 of those points. In the second quarter, the Clippers had a slow start as they allowed a 8-0 run to be down 5, 33-28. The Clippers then took the lead for the rest of the quarter. They were up as much as 8. Cooper Flagg was still the only Maverick that was consistently scoring. He scored 9 more points in the second quarter on 4 for 7 shooting. The rest of the Mavericks, they shot 6 for 21. So just like that again, he was the only one shooting 50%, above 50%. And then the rest of the team, they shot under 30%. So that's a really big difference. The Mavericks, they also shot 1 for 10 from 3 at this time in that quarter. The Clippers, they were up 56-49 at halftime. The Clippers shot above 50%, 10 for 19 from the field, and they shot 3 for 5 from 3. Kawhi scored 10 points, and John Collins had 8. In the second half, the Clippers, just like the last game, in the second half, they were off to a slow start. The Mavericks, they tied the game to make the score 67-67. I know a lot of the kids would be excited here. 6-7, 6-7. After that, Moussa Cisse for the Dallas Mavericks got a 2 to take the lead. Then James Harden scored 10 straight points to bring the Clippers back in front by 8. Harden started by making a layup to tie the game 69-69. He got fouled on a 3 and knocked all of the 3 free throws down. He then got fouled again and made 2 more free throws. And then finally he made a 3. So 10 points. So 2, 3, 3, 2, 10. So this happened with less than 5 minutes left in the first quarter. During that quarter, Cooper Flag had the play of the game when he drove to the paint and dunked on Ivica Zubac. I'm not going to lie, it was a filthy dunk. Like, probably the most like, painful poster I've seen this year in person at Into a Dome. Like, oh my God. I had to put down my vlog on my TikTok. Make sure you guys follow, by the way. Tundra_baller_0 on TikTok. I'll be vlogging every home game that I go to. So, back to the game. The Mavericks had all the momentum, and they tied the game at the end of the quarter at 83 apiece. James Harden scored 12 points in that quarter, and Najee Marshall had the quarter high for the Mavericks at 9 points. So, in the fourth quarter, Klay Thompson. Man, Klay Thompson. You know, looking like he was washed for most of the time this year. But when he's playing the Clippers this year, he's looking like Warriors Klay Thompson, man. Prime Warriors Klay Thompson. Like 37 points in a half, or scoring 60 points, or making 14 threes in a game. The most in NBA history. He had 0 points in the first half, mind you. And then he scored 6 points by making 2 threes in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, it was just something. He was just like, okay, let me just go off real quick. He made 4 threes in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, he just decided to go off. So while the Mavericks were having a lot of momentum, Kawhi Leonard, he kept the Clippers alive by scoring 9 points in the first 4 minutes. After that, he was subbed out because of the minute restriction. Very frustrating. With less than 2 minutes left, the Clippers were playing great defense after John Collins hit a huge 3 to bring them up 2. So the Mavericks, they went down, and then at the end of the shot clock, Klay Thompson hit a contested 3, a deep contested 3, to bring them up front by 1. And I was just like, oh my God, the Clippers, they were clamping them and, you know, just stopping their drives, and then that happens, like 23 seconds of great defense. Then the last second, oh my God, it was just, that was a big shot for the Mavericks. I'm not going to lie. That was a big shot. After that, Cooper Flag hit 2 free throws to bring the lead to 3. Then Chris Dunn got a layup. Now it's a 1-point game. The Clippers fouled again. Dwight Powell for our Mavericks goes for the line. And then he made 1 free throw and missed 1 free throw. Now it's a 2-point game. With 50 seconds left, Kawhi had a good mid-range shot to try to tie the game, but he missed. It was very unfortunate. It was a very good look. Like, he makes that 9 out of 10 times. Then Cooper Flag went to the line again after he got fouled. And he made both free throws. So it's a 4-point game with 34 seconds left. Then James Harden misses a layup, and then the Clippers intentionally fouled again. Klay Thompson goes to the line. He made 1 free throw and missed 1. Now it's a 5-point game with 18 seconds left. Ivica Zubac gets a dunk. Now it's a 3-point game. Cooper Flag goes to the line again and makes both free throws to bring the lead back to 5. There's now 9 seconds left, and then the Clippers give the ball back, and James Harden, he gets fouled on a 3. And then this was a big call because the refs, they were looking to see if it was a flagrant foul. So if it was a flagrant foul, it would have been 3 free throws, and then the Clippers give the ball back. So if Harden made all 3, and if the Clippers give the ball back, they have a chance to tie or win the game. So this was a really big call. But it was a common foul. So James Harden just shot 3 free throws, and then it would be Mavericks ball. So after those shots, he made all of them, and now the lead is now back down to 2 with 6 seconds left. Then the Clippers, they weren't able to get a steal or force a turnover, so they fouled again. Najee Marshall made 2 more free throws, and then the game was over. The Mavericks won 114 to 110. Klay Thompson had 17 points in that fourth quarter alone, looking like prime Klay Thompson. So, for the box score, Cooper Flagg, he had 35 points. Career high against yours truly, the Clippers. A career high with 35 points. And he also had 8 rebounds. Klay Thompson, 23 points, 6 for 10 from 3. Of course, Klay Thompson goes off. We allow their best shooters go off against the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, he had 30 points and 8 rebounds. James Harden, 29 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. Was on triple-double watch again, but he was short. John Collins, 21 points. And then Ivica Zubac, 19 points and 11 rebounds. So the last game that we're going to talk about today is the Clippers against the Heat. So this was last Monday. The Clippers are back, and then they're playing in Miami this time, so they're back on the road. So Jordan Miller, he's back after a hamstring injury after being out for about half a month. And Kawhi, he's still playing. He's good. So the Clippers, they had an off start to start off this game. They were down 14-6 after 3.5 minutes into the game. The first 3 possessions of the Clippers did not look good. John Collins missed a 3, and an offensive foul from James Harden, and then another missed 3 from John Collins. Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins had 7 points each. So it was 14 points. They were both from them at 7 apiece. They both scored 3 times with 1 3 and 2 2s from each of them. Despite missing shots, the Clippers were forcing turnovers, especially with their hustle on transition and getting deflections. They also forced an 8-second violation. Then the Clippers became very active on both ends. They were getting fouled and getting stops. The Clippers were down 1 after the second timeout of the game, 25-24. Coming out of the timeout, though, the Heat scored 10 straight points and had 3 blocks to bring the lead to 11 to end the quarter, 35-24. The Clippers shot 8 for 25 from the field and shot 1 for 6 from 3. But the Heat, just like their name, they were on fire and they were hot from the field. They were 14 for 26 from the field and 7 for 9 from 3. So just like the Heat, they were hot, they were on fire, they weren't cold. The Clippers were cold. They were like in Alaska, while the Heat, they were at Death Valley pretty much. So, but the Clippers, they shot 7 for 9 from free throw line. They were getting foul calls, but the Heat, they shot 0 free throws. Bam Adebayo, he scored 10 points for the Heat in that quarter, and James Harden was the leading scorer with 7. So to start off the second quarter, Jordan Miller scored 6 points for the Clippers in the first 2 minutes. The Clippers shot 6 more free throws in the first 3 minutes. The Clippers were down by 14 after the first possession of the quarter when Tyler Hero made a 3 to beat the shot clock. It was a deep 3, like from way downtown, from a parking lot, probably from into a dome to Miami. And then the Clippers, they scored 10 straight points in 90 seconds to tie the game after being down by 14 4 minutes ago. This was really exciting to watch. Then the Clippers took the lead the next possession with 2 Kawhi free throws. He scored 11 points in 5.5 minutes. But fasten your seatbelts, guys. This is where it all goes downhill, guys. So bear with me on this one. Fasten your seatbelts. The Heat went on a 20 8-0 run to bring the lead to 16. And then the Clippers were missing everything while the Heat was making everything. They went from having a 2-point lead to being down 26 in a span of 6 minutes. They went on to a 32-4 run in that time. 32-4. 32-4. I could not believe it, guys. You guys do not know how I was feeling during that time. 32-4 run. We had all the momentum, and then we just went to Antarctica while the Heat, they were at Death Valley in the prime summer, while we were like at, I don't know, negative like 50 degrees, and they were like 100 million degrees. Like, oh my God. Like, so the Clippers, they were down 20, 76-56 at halftime. But before that, though, we were down 26. But James Harden hit a 3, and then Chris Dunn got an and 1 with 1 second left. So, a 6-0 run to end the half. But it may have been a horrible turnaround, but it was something positive to end the half. Once again, they're down 20, 76-56. In the first half, the Clippers shot 32% from the field and 20% from 3. They were in Alaska. And the Heat, they shot 57% while making 2/3 of their threes. They made 14 threes. So they were in Death Valley. They hosted a block party also. So they were, block after block after block. Bam Adebayo scored 14 points. Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell scored 13 points each. And James Harden and Kawhi Leonard were the Clippers' leading scorers with 11 each. Going into the second half, it was reported that Jordan Miller will be out for the rest of the game due to lower back tightness. So after being out with a hamstring injury for a while, now he has back tightness. Like, it's just really unfortunate with injuries, guys. Like, we need to be healthy. We just gotta be healthy, man. The Clippers, they already allowed 3 threes after a minute and a half for Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, and Davion Mitchell to bring the lead to 29. So, we just allowed 3 straight threes. Like, oh my God. Like, you guys do not know how I was feeling during this time. After being up 2 and then going on that 32-4 run and then allowing 3 straight threes to start off the half, man, it was very disappointing. And then Ty Lue, he saw enough and pulled out the starters after that. He put in Chris Paul, Cam Christie, Kobe Brown, and the rookies, Yannick Koenier-Hauser and Kobe Sanders. Ty Lue saw enough. After 6 minutes into the quarter, the Clippers were down by 36 points in the third quarter. Chris Paul scored 8 points in a 3-minute span. Then Kawhi Leonard came back. I was surprised. He was just like, you know what? Let me just show my pride and let's see what we could do. And he scored 6 points in that quarter. After the third quarter, the Clippers were down by 32 points, 184-82. The Heat made 7 more threes this quarter. They were once again in Death Valley, in the desert. They made 7 more threes. And they made 7 threes in each of the first 3 quarters. So they had 21 going into the fourth quarter. So to start off the fourth, the Heat still had their rotation players and some of their starters in. Kawhi, Zubac, and John Collins, they also started the fourth. Eventually, Nico Batum and Chris Dunn, they came back into the game. But Kawhi and Zoo, though, they had an and 1 during the quarter. With 6 minutes left, though, the Clippers, as I said, in the third quarter, they were down 36. But they brought the lead down to 18 with 6 minutes left, though. Kawhi Leonard scoring buckets. And then with 3:29 left in the game, they brought the lead down to 15. Then Kawhi got an and one afterwards to bring the lead down to 12 with 2 minutes left. So after that, it was too late. Ty Lue put the young guys in to finish the game, the last 2 minutes or so, and the Clippers lost by 17, 140 to 123. The Heat, they tied a franchise record by making 24 threes as a team. The Heat starters made 21 of those threes. Now I'll tell you how much each starter made. Norman Powell, 6 points. I really miss Norman Powell, guys. We shouldn't have traded him. Trade him away. Why did we trade him away, bro? Like, John Collins is cool and all, but why did we trade him away? Andrew Wiggins, he made 2. Bam Adebayo, we let that guy make 5 threes. Tyler Hero, 4. Davion Mitchell, 4. So Norman Powell, he was the leading scorer with 30 points. Bam Adebayo, the second leading scorer, with 27. Andrew Wiggins and Tyler Hero, they had 22 points each. So for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, he went off again. He had 36 points. He had 19 in the fourth quarter. Ivica Zubac, 16 points, 13 rebounds. James Harden, though, he did not come back into the game after being taken out after a minute and a half. He only played 19 minutes, which is the season low, and he had a season low of 11 points also. He had a minus 39 plus minus. He was a negative 39, which is terrible. That was the team low. So we are going to talk about my thoughts about the Clippers. We are 5-16, guys. The Clippers, 5-16. I can't believe that we're in this position. 5-16. We are in the 13th seed. So the Clippers, they play today. They play today against the Atlanta Hawks. They're playing at Atlanta. Trae Young will be out. But it looks like Nickeil Alexander-Walker's going to play. So the last time the Hawks played against the Clippers, it was a few weeks ago at Intuit Dome. And there was this unknown guy, Vit Krejci. Do you guys know who Vit Krejci is? I bet you guys do not know who he is unless you guys are a Hawks fan. He made 8 threes against the Clippers. The Clippers, they were up double digits. But this guy, Vit Krejci, he went off and made 8 threes. Like, oh my God. That was a career high for him. And going to this game, it was like the Hawks' 10th game. This whole year going into this game, he only made 8 threes. And then in this game alone, he made 8 threes. So in this one game, he made 8 threes. In the 10 games before that, he made only 8 threes. So he doubled that in one game. Like, it's just pretty much my takeaways for this, guys, is the Clippers, they're allowing a ton of threes. We're also inconsistent on threes. So what I see here from these 21 games that the Clippers have played, the 5 wins, it was against the Suns. It was a blowout win. The Hornets, that was also a blowout win. Both of those games, they were good. The Clippers played good. I have no problems with that. The Dallas Mavericks, double overtime win. And then, yeah. It's just really frustrating, guys, of how the Clippers are this year. So here are my main takeaways. So we are allowing a ton of threes. Just like the last game against the Heat. We allowed 24 threes. And I think that we just need to take care of personnel also. Like of course, going into the game, they would know who the best players are. Like the Hawks playing as Porzingis. I think when they played against the Hawks last time, they played against Porzingis pretty well. But, you just need to know all the personnel, Like, the guys coming off the bench. Like, did they prepare? Did they know who V. Krejci is going into this game? I don't think so. I did not know who V. Krejci is until he made 8 threes on the Clippers. And then rebounding. You got to rebound. They're showing some promise on defense at times. But it's like the first half, they're a good first half team, the Clippers. The second half, though, it went all downhill. But the last game, though, although the Clippers lost by 17, I'm going to take that as a positive. Kawhi, he probably told Ty Lue, like, hey, put me back in, after they were down 36. And they were, Kawhi, brought the lead down. He pretty much rallied in the fourth quarter. Him and Zubac and Chris Dunn rallied in the fourth quarter. They were, pretty much just showed pride, We could have lost by 50. But we brought the lead down to 12 at one point. But, it was a little bit too late. So I would take that as a positive, since we lost by 17, but we brought the lead down to 12. So we will talk about more Clipper games next week, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is episode 9, and we will have episode 10 next week. And we only have about 2 more episodes this semester, guys. So make sure you guys tune in the next 2 weeks, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great week, guys.